Greetings. I pray that you are doing well today. And I also pray that the Spirit of God is nudging you to engage in the mind of God. Today, once again, I invite you to look at the scriptures appointed for this coming Sunday. They are from the New Testament, the book of James, chapter 5, and verses 7 to 10. Be patient, therefore, beloved, until the coming of the Lord. The farmer waits for the precious crop from the earth, being patient with it until it receives the early and the late rains. You also must be patient. Strengthen your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is near. Beloved, do not grumble against one another, so that you may not be judged. See, the judge is standing at the doors. As an example of suffering and patience, beloved, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. The Old Testament reading is from Isaiah chapter 35 and the first 10 verses. And it begins with, the wilderness and the dry land shall be glad, the desert shall rejoice and blossom. Like the crocus, it shall blossom abundantly. And it has this beautiful narrative of restoration and of coming back together. And in it, it says, be strong and do not fear. Here is your God. He will come with vengeance. He will come and save you. The eyes of the blind shall be opened, the ears of the deaf unstopped. The lame shall leap like a deer. Again, these beautiful words of restoration. And then the gospel is the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, and verses 2 to 11. It begins with, when John heard, and this is John the Baptist, when John heard in prison what the Messiah was doing, he sent word by his disciples and said to him, are you the one who is to come, or are we to wait for another? Jesus answered them, go and tell John what you hear and see. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the poor have good news brought to them. And blessed is anyone who takes no offense at me. And it's followed by, as they went away, Jesus began to speak to the crowds about John, and then there's this praise of John. And the question that kind of came to my mind was, there is this theme across these three readings of restoration, but also waiting patiently, but also being strong. And that is constant through them. But there is one idea that really struck me, which is what Jesus says to them, the disciples of John. And blessed is anyone who takes no offense at me. And my mind goes to the place where I look at this beautiful restoration, beautiful healing that is promised, And now, in the work of Jesus, it's actually happening. It's no longer a promise, it's no longer just words, it's actually happening. But then, why would Jesus say, "And blessed is anyone who takes no offense at me"? Why? Why would Jesus say that? Why is restoration, healing, bringing about of new life, all those wonderful good things, how can they be offensive? How can they be offensive? So that is the question that I'll be exploring this time at the 8 a.m. service at St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Shelton. 10 o'clock we have our Christmas pageant, which all of you are invited to attend and be a part of. It happens within the context of our 10 a.m. worship service. So there is Eucharist and there is the pageant. At the 8 a.m. service is when I will be exploring this question. What is so offensive about new life? What is so offensive about healing? What is so offensive about restoration?